Hi, everybody, and welcome to the August 8th edition of Litter Media Live. It's a Thursday. I'm Dan Ramey. He's Mike Smith. Mr. Hand 2 is off to my immediate left. There he is. Off the right of your screen, off to my immediate left. Yes. I never can remember. Is it stage left if you're facing the audience or if you're looking at the stage?
Yeah.
I think facing the audience.
You think facing the audience?
I think so.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, though.
To my stage left is where Mr. Hand 2 is hanging out. Good to see you today. It's warm outside. I was actually out at Hernstein Field, a.k.a. the Obadiah Harris Family Athletic Complex, just a moment ago. And furthest I think I've walked. I did walk in the grocery store last night. That was a challenge. And walked and climbed the bleachers up to the press box.
So but it was air conditioned in the grocery store, probably.
It was, yes.
Hernstein doesn't have that yet.
But have you ever gone into a store like at a larger store and it just feels the air is stagnant and it's like it feels like it's 80 degrees in there? Yeah, didn't feel that yesterday.
Until you get to the dairy section.
Yeah, you get over, you open up the freezer.
It's like, wow.
Welcome to the program. Let's take a look at what the weather is shaping up for us here today. It is going to get cooler from what we understand.
After today, yes. Partly sunny with a high of 88. There is a slight chance of a shower today, but it's very, very slight. Partly sunny for tomorrow, 83. It's the weekend that things cool off. Mm-hmm. Daytime high Saturday and Sunday of 77 with an overnight low of 55. This tropical storm that's going up the East Coast now, it looks like from most maps that it'll miss Ohio, even as far as rain. But then I saw some other projections that showed we might get some rain. So it's a coin toss again, folks, but we still need rain here in our area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still parched. I was driving out on Jones Levee Road yesterday going home and looked at some of the soybeans, and there's a lot of yellowing going out there. So, and that reminds me, I forgot to mention this when we were in Alabama, and we're talking close to the Florida Panhandle. There was a cornfield that looked like it was ready for harvest.
They usually are earlier than us, yeah.
And I was talking to my father-in-law about that because we were chatting on the phone while we were driving, and I said, you're an old farmer. And he says, well, you know, it is hotter down there. Maybe they start earlier than we do. Mm-hmm. So I just, it looked odd to me because there was green corn over here and October corn over here. Yeah. October in our thoughts and minds. All right, coming up in a moment, things that are making news like the Ross County Fair and more, including sports and this date in history, which takes us back to?
We've got two dates. There was one I didn't see about yesterday until later in the day that involves the Olympics and somebody we know locally that's in that picture.
So we're talking 1984?
As one of them. The other one is a baseball story from 1988.
Ah, all right. And there's a Chillicothe tie to it?
Maybe. I don't know if there is. I don't know.
There's no maybe.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
All that's coming up at the end of the program, so stick with us. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. When you click on this ad anywhere you see it on littermedia.com, it takes you to their Facebook page so you can see what's going on, the latest goings with Scioto Valley Dumpsters. If you need a dumpster for whatever job you've got going on, whether it be commercial or residential, give them a call, 740-253-8389.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week. Time to take a look at what's making news for us, which you can follow along on our website, which is littermedia.com. Boy, it looks like a Mega Superload right there. And a nice outdoorsy look. Looks like we're going to talk about ODNR here in a bit. So all that
this
and
is
more.
an old screenshot.
Oh, that one is?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's a story that you'll find on our website,
Yes, that's
right?
correct. That's correct.
We'll just not talk about it today, probably.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out more, clean out your ears. I remember being in trouble in the 6th grade and Miss Barnhill saying, if you'd pick your ears instead of your nose, you might learn something. So kids, do what the teacher says.
Do what the teacher said. Yeah.
What's at the top of our stories today?
Ross County Fair continues. Today is day one for the livestock sales, which are later this evening, and they go each day through the finale on Saturday. The hogs are on today for 6 p.m. sale time. You see on Friday, you got the lambs, the goats, dairy, and beef. For those of you that, like me, are an old-timer, years ago, the beef was on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But they've changed things around.
Where's the beef?
Yeah.
It's on Friday.
Where hogs, do you remember how long it used to take to get the hog sales done?
Wasn't like an 8-hour process.
Oh, my. I think they started at 4 in the afternoon, and there were times that they were going to 1 or 1:30 in the morning.
So it's a 9-hour process.
Yeah, it was a long, long day. Mm-hmm. But check out the Ross County Fair, and this next story that Dan has a fair relation to it.
It does, because we've got our fair going on. The Scioto County Fair is going on as well. And right now they're working on getting towards Lucasville with this Mega Superload. This provided, thanks again to our friends at ODOT. This is what it looks like. And this is the last of those big, giant Mega Superloads. And it's coming to Ross County tomorrow. So that means it's going to be between Waverly and here sometime tonight.
Actually, it stays tonight at Lucasville.
Right. And then tomorrow will find its way through our part of the country here in the Ross County area. So this should be between 1 and 3 o'clock and sit there overnight. It's just outside the Ross County Fairgrounds, which is where they've been stopping with a lot of these loads.
Right. I think Brad Cosenza, who, of course, is on the fair board, he was telling me when I was in the fair office late last week, he said, so since there's a window of 1 to 3 where they just don't know for sure, if you got to be there before 1, get there. Right. If you got to be there in the evening, then you're okay to wait till after 3. Yeah. But don't think you're going to pass these guys.
Yeah, if you want to see something judged at 2, you may as well get there before noon.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you somehow go up Route 22 and come south. Yes, you'd have to go way out of the way to do it, but... And I noticed...
or you could get a hovercraft and go across the river and come in from that side.
There's a thought. I did notice, I don't even think we've talked about this year, but I saw a post that got by me from earlier this week where the sheriff has opened the back entrance to the fairgrounds on the 207, but I think that's entrance only coming off the right side of the road there. So that is another possibility, I suppose.
That would relieve some pressure,
to get there.
But I don't know that it'd be a traffic nightmare if they had it going both ways there. Probably.
Chillicothe's First Presbyterian Church is getting the word out about their partnership with the Chillicothe-Ross County Public Library as they are teaming together to offer a children's clothing bank for needy Ross Countyans. The Children's Clothing Bank is located in the annex building of the library on Payne Street, and it's open on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. until noon. Now, as a result, donations of gently used children's clothing are being accepted by the First Presbyterian Church located at 13 Mead Drive in Chillicothe. You can find out more in our website story about how you can donate clothes and how you can pick those up on Tuesdays.
Coming up later this month, the Hope Partnership has a community forum that's coming up. A meaningful conversation with kids about drug abuse. Their subject matter experts are there to educate and provide essential resources. And there you see who we've got friends here that are helping out. Captain Mike Short from the Chillicothe Police Department, Julie Oates, as well as Michael Hickman. So they will be helping out with this important discussion that takes place August 27th. It's about an hour-and-a-half long program, 6 to 7:30, in the annex room of the Ross County Library branch right downtown.
Pickaway-Ross Career and Technology Center juniors are reminded to attend the August 13th Career Tech Kickoff from 5 to 7 p.m. This will be an opportunity to pick up uniforms, meet your teachers, grab the schedules, and find your classrooms, because since you're an incoming junior, this will be most likely your first opportunity to do all of the above.
And you'll wonder about the construction equipment and everything that's out there. That's because they're building that expansion. The Ohio Department of Transportation is now distributing 1.4 million copies of Ohio's new state map, highlighting Ohio, the heart of it all. The tourism brand, of course. Ohio's new state map, which debuted at the 2024 Ohio State Fair, features the latest road changes, updated routes, along with points of interest to help travelers navigate Ohio with ease.
With the oncoming of the GPS, do people still use road maps?
You know, the craziest thing, when we went to visit Danny when he was graduating from boot camp and then also going up to North Dakota to visit with him for the first time, my wife, who had never really been out of the state, she'd been out to Kentucky like once, but she never really used a map before. Huh. And so I'm teaching her as we're going to North Dakota how to read a map, you know, and I'm like, I can't believe you've never done this. But then I got to thinking, Mom and Dad took me everywhere, and I would map things out, and we'd have the strategy already in place. Having the GPS is kind of cool. I know Mr. Hand, too, can't get anywhere without it. And, see.
You can't get to lunch each day.
Well, that thumb is so strong because he was texting where to find his GPS.
Yes,
so yes, I still use a map every once in a while. And the darndest thing, I mapped out our trip to Florida. We got in Tennessee, and I'm like, dang, I left the atlas on the floor in the bedroom of the house. Forgot to take it with me.
So much good that did, yeah.
Yes.
Be sure to join the Pickaway County Park District for Skins and Skulls, an Ohio Mammals program this Saturday to explore the world of Ohio mammals. It'll be Saturday from 10 a.m. until noon at the Roundtown Trail on the YMCA side in Circleville. Now, if you want to attend, you need to register through email. For those who are listening in on radio right now, it's MELLIS, that's MELLIS, at PickawayCountyOhio.gov.
It's National Farmers Market Week, so make sure you get out to check out the different farmers markets that are around your county. Here's a list of upcoming markets that you'll find in Fairfield County, including every 8:30 till noon on Saturdays right through October 5th in Lancaster. Of course, we've got the one here in Chillicothe, well, a couple of them here in Chillicothe. And one of these days soon, when they renovate back behind the armory, that will be a permanent home for a farmer's market here in Chillicothe.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost has announced the first ever statewide human trafficking hotline during his opening remarks at the office's 5th annual Human Trafficking Summit in Columbus. The hotline number is 844-END, the word END, OHHT. They'll funnel incoming tips on suspected sex and labor trafficking directly to law enforcement. And, you know, we've talked about this before on this program. Because of our highway system, which is so great for getting commerce, unfortunately, it's also used for nefarious means, drug trafficking and unfortunately, human trafficking. So It's just like that old saying, if you see something that doesn't look right,
say something.
Say something. And this is one of the ways that you can help somebody in need. Our road report today. Work has begun for a resurfacing project on US 23 and State Route 728 between Portsmouth and the village of Lucasville. And I think the last time the Superload came up that way, they have orange barrels for this project on top of what's coming your way. So it's kind of tight navigating down through there today with both that work and the Superload coming your way.
Just taking a look at some of the our Ross County Fair photo album. Do you have some of those to share with us today?
They're not in the OBS, so no. But you can go to our Facebook and look at them.
Yeah, you'll have to do that. Our OBS, by the way, is what we're using to broadcast with. So here we are. If you want to see them, go to our Facebook page. There you see a little bit of them right there.
We did see some wrestling highlights yesterday, or was it the day before?
The day before.
Day before.
Yeah, that was Tuesday. Yeah. We've got some Cavalier video we'll share with you here in just a moment from the Obadiah Harris Family Athletic Complex. That's just ahead in a moment with sports. But first, let's tell you about Haynes Chiropractic, Physical Therapy, and Nutrition. They have been taking care of those needs for 50 years now. In fact, Dr. Jeffrey Haynes was on display last night at the Ross County Fair, at the Haynes booth. Make sure you get out and see them at Haynes Total Healthcare Center in their booth in the commercial building during the Ross County Fair. You might even get some evaluation while you're there, too. It's all free. So you'll find out more. Just click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to HaynesHealth.com for Haynes Total Healthcare Center.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Well, coming up next Friday, a week from tomorrow, is the start of the football season.
Regular season.
Where has the time gone? Summer is gone already. So last week I saw they were putting down new strips of turf and everything. You can roll the video footage there if you. Thank you. And so here's what it looks like today. It doesn't look much different, just newer. If you've been to the football field at the Obadiah Harris Family Athletic Complex where the Cavaliers play their games, here's what it looks like today. You can see the guys on the tractors and trucks. They are brushing in all those pellets that they put down. Well, they're doing sand and pellets today. And I was talking with Steve Mullins, who used to be on the Chillicothe School Board. He's been very much involved with this project since it started way back when. And he said this is the same type of sand rubber mixture that they're using at Paycor Stadium, where the Bengals have put their new field in. So it's the same stuff. So it's all happening right here. So if you've never seen it up close, this is some of the sand that is on the track. They'll blow that off, I'm sure, with a leaf blower at some point in time. But they allow that to sift all down in, and that's the filler part. You see how long those pieces of the turf are. They're all about 3 and 4 inches long. So when they pour this in, they go over it with a brusher, and the brusher pulls those blades of grass up to allow that filler to go in. Those are the bags of fillers, and here comes the fellow that's carrying the wagon. This is the spreader. And you see how they've had to make that spreader bigger because they put this big bag of rubber pellets, and the guy comes along with a razor, cuts the bottom of it, and They all fall in there. And this one has been sitting there so long, apparently, that the heat has made some of those pellets clump together, because when it cuts through this, I'm thinking this is all going to pour right through. No, here comes a big clump. And 3, 2, 1, bonk. But, yeah, field is going to be ready. They say they'll be finished with it tomorrow and ready for everything to take place for the fall sports season. For soccer is played there, lacrosse is played there, and, of course, football is played there as well.
Moving on to the golf course, the Logan Elm Braves took first place in the Mid-State League Buckeye Boys Golf Match #1 at Crown Hill Course yesterday. That opened up their conference season. The Braves shot a team score 336, edging runner-up Bloom Carroll by 1 stroke. The Bulldogs' Carter Price was match medalist with a 74. We have each of the golfers from each team on our website story at littermedia.com. But there's, as you can see, a team missing now in the Mid-State League Buckeye because
Teays Valley's in the OCC now, and they are up and running. They opened up its membership in the Ohio Capital Conference as Viking golfers finished second in their first OCC match. Vikings were led by sophomore Noah Hilgenberg with a 76. Cavaliers used to be in the OCC, and now here Teays Valley's jumped in there.
Staying on the subject of golf and talking about turf, the Chillicothe Jaycees golf course is switching to Bermuda grass for 2025.
That's what they have on Uniota's football field, right?
Now, this requires much less water for the grass to thrive, as we're all experiencing because of this drought we've had in this part of the state. The grass at the golf course was not doing very well, so they said, let's just make a change here. Now, the prep work is already underway, and it could keep golfers off the course for several weeks later this fall. If you've ever seen Bermuda grass, it loves hot weather, little rain, but in the winter months, it turns almost white. So there's probably not going to be a lot of golf played in the winter anyway.
Yeah, kind of looks like it's dead.
Yeah, but then it jumps back in when things start warming up and you get a little bit of a rain on it.
It's like me when I wear Bermuda shorts. White legs.
White. Yeah.
The Teays Valley High School Athletic Department announces its inductees in the Teays Valley Athletic Hall of Fame. They are Libby Blaney of track fame, Brett Carson, who played with the Chillicothe Paints. He's still playing minor league baseball. He also was a kicker for the Teays Valley Vikings in football. Kyle Dooley, another wrestler, Cameron Latham, and Drew Pennington. Remember him as the quarterback of the football Vikings a number of years ago. The inductees will be honored at a dinner on September 5th and at halftime of the varsity football game against Watkins Memorial on September 6th, which Watkins Memorial's athletic director is Joel Baker, who used to be the athletic director at Teays Valley. So I'm sure that has something to do with that day being selected. So thank you to my buddy Jacob for filling in on. I knew I was familiar with Pennington and also Carson, but I couldn't remember what the other kids participated in. So hats off to my alma mater.
Well, we wish it could have been the Chillicothe Paints, but it's not. But all the same, congratulations to this year's Prospect League champions, the Pistol Shrimp. They swept the Rex in a 2-out-of-3 series. 4-2, the deciding game last night.
Think about this. The little tiny Pistol Shrimp takes down the large T-Rex. Yeah. So, again, the dinosaurs lose in the end, as it were. Cincinnati Reds, they threatened late. It was so cool to see that grand slam hit by this guy right here, Friedel, but they couldn't put it together. They had the bases loaded with 2 outs in the top of the ninth, and they couldn't come back to beat the lowly Miami Marlins. Final there, 6-4. They'll wrap up that series today. In the meantime, the Guardians were swept in their doubleheader with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Snakes winning the first one, 7-3, and then 5-3 in the nightcap.
And this week's Neil Coleman Wyandotte Mutual Insurance Athlete of the Week. Congratulations go out to Westfall girls golfer Paige Weiss. Paige has already had 2 impressive medalist performances with a 5 under par 30 at the Adam Sharp Invitational in Greenfield last week. Then the following night, she shot a 9 under par 63 at the Lady Falcons Invitational. That's, of course, through Fairfield Union. So congratulations to Paige. On I know the girls at Westville, they haven't lost yet. But they've been to the state tournament, I think, 4 of the last 5 years. So looks like they've got another great team again this year.
This may not be the last time we see her.
Yeah, could be.
If you would like to make a nomination, simply send us an email and send us some information on the athlete that you want to nominate. And it's heating up. We're getting close to the end of the year, and we'll have a player of the year. You can find out who all those kids are when you log on to our website, littermedia.com, and under the sports tab, you'll find the player of the week. All right, coming up in a moment, this date in history, 2 sports events.
We're also brought to you by Litter Quality Propane, 92 years of serving propane users in southern and central Ohio. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it.
Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
818 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe for Hometown Motors and hometown-motors.com. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you want to learn more about what they do and what service territory they are in and how they're involved with the community, they were involved with buying an apple pie at the 4-H auction the other night. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to their website, accuratehvac.com, for accurate heating, cooling, and plumbing. Time for this date in history. We're dialed up first for 1984.
Actually, this would have been more appropriate for yesterday, but it didn't come to my attention until yesterday afternoon. Yesterday, on that date, in 1984, the USA women's basketball team won the gold medal at the Olympics in Los Angeles. Of course, the lady that's being hoisted up on top of all the players there is Coach Pat Head Summit, included in the great athletes, and you can name, every one of those girls are probably Hall of Famers now. But the lady on the far left, number 11, is Adena High School graduate Cindy Noble Hauserman, who was also a winner on that gold medal team.
I think she averaged something like 9 or 10 points a game during the Olympics. And Cheryl Miller is the one right underneath her, but I can't place who the other 2 women are.
If I'm not mistaken, and I'm blocked out by the camera, the girl that's down in the center, the lower middle, I think that's the head coach of LSU.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's right. And the lady on the far right, she looks familiar to me, but I can't place her. So
okay,
yeah. But congratulations to Cindy and all those ladies from that gold medal.
I remember talking with Cindy a few years later, and how upset she was when President Carter said, "You guys are not participating in the 1980 Olympics." She probably would have had another gold medal.
Right. And ironically, that had to do with Afghanistan and the Soviet Union at that time. Now, on this date in history, in 1988, now pay close attention to the wording here. The Chicago Cubs host the first night game in the history of Wrigley Field. Rick Sutcliffe started the game for the Cubs and gave up a home run to Phil Bradley of the Phillies on his 4th pitch. The Cubs' star second baseman Ryne Sandberg answered with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first. And with the Cubs leading in the bottom of the fourth, 3-1, the game is called because of rain. So because the 5 innings needed for the game to be official were not completed, Wrigley Field's first night game is officially recorded for August the 9th in a 6-4 win over the Mets. But they tried to get it in on this date back in 1988.
Here's the Chillicothe tie. Who hit that first home run? Phil Bradley. Who is Phil Bradley's brother? Ray Bradley, former athletic director. We miss him. You've seen, if you go to Hatton Gym, Ray's Corner, that is Ray Bradley. The only time I've ever had a chance to talk with Phil Bradley was at his brother's funeral there at Hatton Gym. And then I got to see him when Ray was put into the CHS Hall of Fame. I didn't get to talk to him, but he was there that night. His daughters accepted the award for Ray. So that's the tie there. Rick Sutcliffe was pitching, and when Brian Tolberg was brought up with the Milwaukee no, it wasn't Milwaukee, San Diego Padres, Rick Sutcliffe was with the broadcasting team. And so when I was given the opportunity from the Reds Radio Network to go interview Brian Tolberg for a feature, they thought it would be neat. Chillicothe Paint, Chillicothe Radio guy, have them together for this. I walked in, and there's Rick Sutcliffe hanging out with the guys in the Padres locker room. Bruce Bochy was the manager at the time of the Padres, and I've been watching the Pete Rose documentary. Pete Rose has a collision with Bruce Bochy at home plate, not the All-Star game, but this was one of the World Series games. And so I thought, this is weird. How does all this stuff happen, you know? But it was really cool to get a chance to see it. And Ricky Henderson was in the locker room, too.
Yeah, some Hall of Famers there.
Yeah, and I'm like, pinch me. Am I dreaming? It was really cool.
Going back to that Wrigley Field, their first night game, the irony is 50 years prior, the first Major League night game is played at Crosley Field in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The last holdout is Wrigley Field as far as playing night games.
Yeah.
So
I've never been to Wrigley. Have you been there?
Have not been there to see a game. I've been by it.
Been by it. No, I haven't even been by it. I mean, we went through Chicago, but I don't remember seeing the stadium. I think I saw where the White Sox play.
Well, it was Comiskey at that
which
time.
is
They're on the south side.
South side, yeah. So
on the south side of Chicago.
Bad Leroy Brown.
We just got dinged there.
You're going to get us dinged by Facebook. Thank you, Mike. So, all right. Interesting how these things are all connected in some fashion. And ironically, they're all in America. It's amazing.
It's America.
That's it for today's program. Thank you so much for watching. And we've got a lot of things planned for you in the future, so make sure you come back. We have a long day today. We're heading out to Tecumseh tonight. Mr. Hand, too.
Yes, we are.
He is excited about
Very
that.
exciting.
Now, you're out there for the show tonight, or they're doing something with you this afternoon?
We're out there tonight. They've hired us to record the show.
They've hired Dan to play Tecumseh tonight.
To play. I want to see. No, I don't want to see him in a loincloth. Strike that. Strike that.
They don't use that spray tan makeup anymore, baby. You'd have to wear sunglasses.
I can't get that thought out of my head now. I'll be thinking of that all day. Pale white Dan.
Yes. Truly the white man on stage.
Oh, golly.
So, yeah. But remember they used to use all that makeup and everything, you know? And gosh, it's probably been more than 10 years ago now that we did a backstage tour with them, a video tour back when I was at the radio station. And part of it was we went into the makeup room, and they just don't use makeup anymore.
Right.
A lot of them are naturally dark-skinned or very tanned from, being out in the sun and the whole deal. So going all natural, I guess, in that respect.
I saw can't even remember where it was, but it was somebody on Facebook the other day, the last name Faunastock. And I thought, That's the first time I've heard that last name since John Fahnestock. He didn't have any family that lingered on in Chillicothe, or did he?
I don't know.
And I don't know whatever became of John. He portrayed Tecumseh many years ago, but don't know where his acting career took him after he left Chillicothe. But when I saw that name, I thought, wow, I haven't seen that name in a long time. So,
well, if you see us out of the amphitheater tonight, we can wave hi, but we're not allowed to talk to you because our microphones will be picking up everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So don't stand there and talk and visit with us. Shouldn't be talking during the show anyway,
That's
right?
Yeah.
So, but very much looking forward to it. I've heard some good things about some of the augmentations they've made with the presentation of Tecumseh. If you've not seen the show recently, you got to get out there and see it.
Jimmy Hines gave it a glowing review to us after our special edition.
Yeah, and when we had, and you go back and take a look at some of the interviews we've done for this year, you'll find the chat with Brandon Smith as we talked about some of the changes for this year's show, and one of them is a young lady comes out and she sets the scene and helps segue to different portions. Prior to that, you were kind of left to like, what's this scene mean? You know, and if you've seen it time and time and time again, you understand. But as Jimmy was telling us in his review of it, he said, when I first saw it, I wasn't real sure about it, but then I thought, boy, that's a really nice touch. So, yeah, a lot of neat things. And when you're around for as long as Tecumseh has been portrayed, you don't want it to look like it did in 1973.
Sure. Right.
You know, and the story doesn't change in that fashion. I don't want people thinking that they've said, oh, so the Indians win. You know, that's not the case. The outcome is still the same. And if you don't know the story, I don't want to ruin it for you. So make sure you get out to see Tecumseh because it wraps up September 1st, I believe, is the last presentation of Tecumseh. That's it for today's program. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you soon with another edition of Litter Media Live.